My name is Gabrielle Querrard, and you're watching Yellow Cedar.
I know that we're dealing with a lot of instability in the world, both economic and political, but I truly think that the real story in our lifetimes is going to be that of climate change. If you're somebody that's been paying attention to the natural world around you, you know that we've been seeing warmer ocean temperatures, more heavier rainfall in shorter periods of time, longer periods of drought, as well as a more acidic ocean content. And let's not even forget the monstrous hurricanes that have been ripping and roaring through the Caribbean almost every single summer for the last 2 decades. And this year, much like every year for the last decade, scientists are warning that this summer is poised to be the hottest on record. Now, I've included these graphs behind me to show just how the effects of climate change are creating an adverse reaction to our everyday quality of life, as well as our environment. Now, the story of climate change is not one-dimensional. There are a bunch of factors that have led us to where we are today, including greenhouse gases being trapped into our atmosphere, including since the 1700s, carbon dioxide in our atmosphere has gone up 40%. Including the process of evaporation increasing, causing more humidity, which means more rainfall, but also more extensive drought. Another factor that I don't see a lot of people talk about is our trade winds and the fact that since the onset of the 21st century, our trade winds have gradually reduced year by year up until this point. And the problem with that is that when there is not a lot of wind blowing over the ocean, there's not a lot of ocean mixing, and so it allows the ocean to absorb more heat. And not just more heat at its surface, but the depth of that heat content goes far deeper. And we know intimately that heat fuels hurricanes. In the Virgin Islands specifically, our average sea surface temperatures has increased by 2 degrees since the 1900s. And you might be thinking that 2 degrees doesn't feel super significant, but 2 degrees is absolutely catastrophic for ocean life and for our coral. Marine biologists for years have been sounding the alarm that in the Virgin Islands, we are experiencing extensive periods of coral bleaching, which is ultimately drying our corals out and completely destroying them. This is very significant considering that our coral literally is connected to the health of our oceans. Coral reefs offer environments and habitats for smaller fish. They help to filter the water and clean the ocean. Now, the problem with all of this is that coral takes hundreds of years to grow. And a lot of the coral that are experiencing the bleaching and are dying off are coral that have been here in our waters for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. Earlier in this video, I mentioned ocean acidity. Ocean acidity is also adversely affecting our coral health. It increases the growth of algae, and algae becomes so thick in the ocean that it covers over the coral and literally starves it to death. And the dying off of our coral is the pipeline to the dying off of very valuable fish species in our ocean. Now, in addition to the adverse environmental impacts, climate change is increasing hurricane activity. We're getting faster hurricanes, we're getting stronger hurricanes, and we are experiencing instances more often where hurricanes are going completely stationary, which is absolutely devastating. A really great example of this happened in 2019 with Hurricane Dorian that sat over the Bahamas for over 24 hours at Category 5 strength. And in between the hurricanes, we're experiencing long periods of droughts, which is affecting our water resources and adversely affects our agriculture industry. I say all of that to say this: an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and I'd like to see more conversation around climate change, its adverse effects, and what we plan to do as a territory to ensure that we can insulate ourselves as much as possible from these adverse effects. This can be done through policy changes toward more resilient and sustainable infrastructure, and general education across the community, because a lot of people in our community have no idea what climate change is and how it's going to affect all of us.
My name is Gabrielle Querrard, and you're watching Yellow Cedar.